In the heart of downtown Los Angeles, among the endless sprawl of glittering skyscrapers and movie billboards, a plain manila envelope sat atop a cluttered desk at the U.S. Attorney's Office. It had arrived anonymously, with no return address, no fingerprints, only a USB drive inside and a note scrawled in block letters. "Play this alone. Assistant U.S." Attorney Alex Rourke stared at it for several minutes. A former military prosecutor turned federal investigator, Alex had seen every kind of bluff and trap. But something about this envelope unnerved him. The weight of it, the silence that came with it. He inserted the USB into a secure laptop, locked the door and pressed play. Two voices emerged from the speakers, low and familiar like whispers in a storm. "You're sure it's gone?" "Neutralized. We redirected the heat. They're chasing shadows. Still, if this resurfaces, we both burn." Alex's breath hitched. He knew those voices. The first belonged to Sean Combs, Diddy, the music mogul turned entrepreneur. The second, unmistakably, was Leonardo DiCaprio. His hands trembled slightly as he paused the recording and replayed it from the beginning. The clip lasted only 72 seconds, but each one dropped like a hammer. It wasn't just celebrity gossip, it was conspiracy, possibly obstruction of justice. Maybe worse, this could change everything. Before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This story goes deeper than you can imagine. Alex immediately contacted his supervisor, but the response was muted, cagey. "We'll look into it," they said, filing it away without promise or urgency. But Alex knew better. He had worked enough sensitive cases to understand the signs. Pressure was already mounting behind the scenes to suppress the file. He needed more than just a voice clip. He needed someone who knew the inside. That's when he remembered a name: Camilla Dunn. Camilla had once been a personal assistant to multiple high-profile stars in LA, including a brief, tumultuous stint working for DiCaprio's philanthropic foundation. Rumors swirled that she had left after a breakdown, but some said it was because she saw something she shouldn't have. He found her in a modest apartment in Silver Lake, hidden behind plants and privacy curtains. She answered the door cautiously, eyes scanning the street behind him. "I thought they'd send someone eventually," she said, without greeting. Inside, the place was sparse but organized. She offered no coffee, no pleasantries, only questions. "Is it the recording?" she asked. "The one from Malibu?" Alex nodded slowly. "We have a copy. I need to know what you know." Camilla's shoulders tensed. Her eyes moved to a bookshelf where a small figurine had been slightly moved. She walked over, adjusted it, and spoke with a voice that had clearly rehearsed these words for years. "There was a party, August 2017. DiCaprio was there. So was Diddy. The Fox organized it." "You've heard of him?" she asked. Alex shook his head. "He's the cleaner. No real name, no address, just the Fox. If there's a scandal to bury, he's the one they call." Camilla sat down, her hands shaking. "That night, someone got hurt. Bad. I don't know what happened exactly, but I saw hush money change hands. A woman left in tears. And the next day, every guest was sworn to silence." "And you?" Alex asked. "I was just an assistant," she said bitterly. "They forgot I existed." Not anymore. Now Camilla was the only thread left dangling from a web of power, silence, and danger. And Alex knew if he pulled too hard, the whole thing might unravel or crush them both. News of the leaked recording exploded within 24 hours. Blogs speculated. Twitter caught fire. Mainstream media danced around the subject, dropping veiled references and quoting anonymous sources close to the investigation. Yet no one dared speak the names aloud. Not yet. Diddy's representatives released a vague statement, claiming the audio was fabricated and malicious, while DiCaprio's camp insisted the actor had no knowledge of any wrongdoing. But behind the glossy denial, PR teams worked overtime to scrub search results and quietly reach out to media outlets. Inside the Justice Department, the pressure was worse. Alex Rourke received veiled warnings from his superiors. "You don't want this case defining your career," one senior official said. "We have bigger fish to fry." He was even advised, off the record, to take a leave of absence for his own safety. But Alex wasn't going anywhere. If anything, the threat only sharpened his resolve. Camilla, meanwhile, knew the spotlight was closing in. She could feel it in the weight of her phone, in the eyes that lingered too long when she stepped outside. She still had friends inside the machine, though, people who owed her favors, or had grown just as weary of the facade. One of them was Julian Kay, a veteran sound engineer who had once handled audio for several celebrity galas. Camilla reached out to him through a secure app. Within hours, they met at a diner in Pasadena. Over coffee and scrambled eggs, Julian handed her a flash drive. "That party in Malibu," he said. "I remember it. Everyone had to turn in their phones, but I kept the ambient audio backup for my own archive. I don't know why, maybe I just didn't trust what I saw." Camilla handed the drive to Alex later that night. The new file contained more than a conversation. It recorded snippets from the entire evening, background chatter, music, and brief, chilling exchanges. "We pay her, she walks." She said no. "Then we make her." There were timestamps, overlapping voices, subtle but damning. "This is enough to get a warrant," Alex murmured, playing the file again. But it wasn't enough to bring down two titans of entertainment. He needed more. Documentation, visual proof, a clear motive. Camilla hesitated. She opened a locked metal case she kept hidden beneath her bed. Inside were years' worth of notes, files, printed emails, and photographs, all meticulously organized. "I started saving this when I realized the game they were playing. I thought I might need it to survive." Among the items was a photo of a woman, face blurred, sitting on the edge of a pool. Her clothes were soaked, a man's jacket draped over her shoulders. In the background, DiCaprio stood talking to Diddy, and a third figure, a man with silver hair and sunglasses, barely lit by torchlight. "That's him," Camilla whispered. "That's the Fox." Alex leaned in. "What's his real name?" "No one knows, but he doesn't work for money, he works for silence, and if he knows we're looking, he'll come for us." That night, Camilla's apartment was broken into. Nothing was stolen, nothing damaged. Only the hard drive from her computer had been removed with surgical precision. Whoever had done it had bypassed the lock, ignored valuables, and taken only the digital files. A message, clear as glass. Camilla and Alex went into protective custody immediately. Two marshals moved them to a secure location outside the city. Still, Alex made one final call to his forensic expert. "Authenticate the audio and prepare a summary. We're going to court." He didn't know if the judge would listen, but he knew one thing: if they stopped now, no one else would. The safe house was a modest structure tucked deep within the Angeles National Forest, a former ranger station, now repurposed by the U.S. Marshal Service. No cell reception, no internet. Just silence, broken by the hum of wind through pine trees and the occasional crackle of the fireplace. Camilla couldn't sleep. Every noise outside became a phantom. Every creak in the floorboards echoed like a threat. She kept a knife beneath her pillow, though she doubted it would matter if the Fox ever decided to make his move. Alex, for his part, buried himself in the case. Dozens of files lay spread across the table. Court rulings, celebrity schedules, legal records, and notes Camilla had kept in code. Piece by piece, the puzzle began to reveal a broader picture. Not just one night of wrongdoing, but a systematic method for burying any threat to powerful reputations. In those documents, dates aligned eerily with public scandals that had mysteriously evaporated. An actress silenced, a director stepping back to focus on family, a lawsuit dropped with a quiet settlement. Every story had a gap, and each gap, Camilla claimed, had the Fox lurking behind it. But what truly shifted everything were the flashbacks. Camilla began to recount in vivid detail the night of the Malibu party, the smell of sea salt and alcohol, the distant sound of house music, and then, the moment everything changed. "There was screaming," she said, voice low. "Not anger, panic. Someone was hurt. A woman, I think. I never saw her face clearly, but I remember the blood on her dress. She was trying to leave." That's when Diddy took out his phone and started texting. DiCaprio looked terrified. Not like he'd done something, more like he was about to lose everything. She paused. And then the Fox arrived. Within 20 minutes, the girl was gone, like she'd never existed. Alex took a deep breath. "You think she's still alive?" "I don't know. But I think she was the key to something much bigger." The next morning, Alex received a call via satellite phone from his forensic contact. "It's real," the voice said. The voices matched down to intonation, cadence, and background noise. It wasn't doctored. It's court admissible. That was the final piece he needed. He contacted a federal judge, requesting an emergency in-camera hearing to present new evidence. The request was risky. It meant tipping his hand, alerting defense attorneys, and possibly accelerating any cover-up. But time wasn't on their side. The hearing was granted for 48 hours later. By now, the media had grown bolder. Journalists began openly referencing the names involved. Internet sleuths tried to identify the Fox, sparking dozens of conspiracy threads. One post even claimed he'd been spotted in Zurich last week, boarding a private jet. As the date of the hearing approached, Camilla's nerves frayed further. The night before they left the safe house, she found a folded piece of paper tucked into her travel bag. It read only, "Turn back or vanish." It wasn't signed. She showed it to Alex, who scanned it with dead calm. "They're panicking," he said. "So which means we're getting close." The morning of the hearing, a convoy of black SUVs transported them to a secure federal courthouse. Security was tripled. Snipers were posted on the roof. As they entered the courtroom, Camilla turned to Alex and whispered, "If something happens to me, you make sure the world knows. No more silence." Alex nodded, jaw clenched. He carried with him a copy of the audio, the witness statements, and a sworn affidavit from Julian Kay. This time the truth would speak, not in whispers, but through the hammer of justice. The courtroom was hushed, thick with tension. Every seat in the gallery was filled, not by spectators but by lawyers, agents, and federal officials, their eyes flickering with curiosity and fear. The judge, an older woman with silver hair and a piercing gaze, took her seat with solemn authority. "This is a closed session," she announced. "No cameras, no recordings. We are here to assess the veracity and legal weight of newly submitted evidence. Mr. Rourke, proceed." Alex rose, his voice steady but sharp. He presented the authenticated audio, the supporting documentation, and Camilla's statement. Every piece was laid with precision. The judge listened, expression unreadable. Then came Camilla. She walked to the witness stand with measured steps, her breath tight in her chest. She was sworn in and began to speak, not just of what she had heard, but what she had seen. The party, the blood, the money exchanged, the girl who vanished. "Did you witness any acts of coercion or cover-up that night?" the judge asked. Camilla nodded. "Yes. There were men at the party who took control. Phones were destroyed. One guest protested. I never saw him again. They made sure nothing would leak." "And were Sean Combs and Leonardo DiCaprio present during this time?" "Yes. They weren't just present. They were involved in the decisions." Defense attorneys objected, citing lack of corroboration, but Alex was ready. He called his second witness, Marcus Greer, a former bodyguard for Diddy, who had come forward after seeing the news coverage. "I kept quiet for years," Marcus said, "but I was there that night. I helped escort a woman to a private car. She was crying. She had bruises. And I was told very clearly never to speak of it." The courtroom shifted, unease rippling through the walls. "Who gave that order?" Alex asked. Marcus hesitated. "The man they called the Fox. I never got his name. But Diddy said he was the one who fixed things." "Did you see DiCaprio interact with the Fox?" "Yes," they argued. DiCaprio was angry, said something like, "This is too far," but he didn't stop it. The judge leaned back, her fingers steepled. "I will need time to review the full documentation. This is no longer a simple case of rumor or hearsay." As the judge adjourned the session, whispers swelled in the hallway. Though the public still didn't know the details, insiders sensed the momentum. The media intensified its coverage. Political figures began to distance themselves from both celebrities. That night, a source from DiCaprio's legal team reached out to Alex privately. "There's room to negotiate," the voice said. "Leo wants to come clean in exchange for immunity. He'll name the Fox." Alex didn't respond. Not yet. Meanwhile, Diddy remained silent, retreating from public view. But satellite images captured him entering a federal building under escort. No press release. No comments. Just shadows moving behind bulletproof glass. Camilla watched the news from her secure hotel room. She felt no triumph, only exhaustion. It had taken years to bring the truth this far, and the fight was far from over. But something had shifted. The silence was breaking. And the Fox, wherever he was, would now be hunted by more than just whispers. In the coming days, arrests would be made, files unsealed, secrets dragged into the light, and the story, once hidden in the hush of celebrity luxury, would now echo in every court, every newsroom, and every quiet voice that had once been ignored. 3 weeks after the court hearing, the federal indictment was announced. The charges named several high-profile individuals, including 2 producers, a private investigator, and 1 unidentified operative suspected of coordinating illegal cover-ups across the entertainment industry. Though Sean Combs and Leonardo DiCaprio were not formally indicted, both were named in sealed testimonies and ongoing investigations. The media called it the Silence Network. It dominated headlines for days. Networks scrambled to re-edit interviews, remove clips, and backtrack old stories. DiCaprio's foundation issued a statement about internal restructuring and full cooperation with authorities. Diddy's camp maintained his innocence, but his brand partnerships collapsed almost overnight. Alex Rourke, now the face of the investigation, became a reluctant icon of justice. He gave no interviews, declined magazine covers. Instead, he returned to work quietly, accepting the backlash and the praise with equal detachment. He knew how rare these moments were, how quickly they passed, but Camilla Dunn had vanished. No press conference, no farewell statement, just gone. She'd been placed in witness protection, her name scrubbed from databases, her image removed from search results. Only Alex knew where she'd gone, a small coastal town in Oregon under a different name, working at a community library. She lived quietly, tending a garden, reading paperbacks, and walking on the beach at dawn. One day Alex visited. No escort, no cameras, just a quiet conversation on a windy porch. "You did it," he said. "They're finally listening." Camilla shook her head. "They're listening now, but soon they'll move on to the next scandal. That's how it works." He nodded, unable to argue. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. "Only when I sleep," she said. "That's when I hear her voice, the girl who disappeared. I still don't know her name, but I know what they did to her." They sat in silence, the ocean stretching endlessly before them. Back in Los Angeles, federal agents continued to chase leads. The Fox, the man behind the curtain, had disappeared completely. Not a single photo, ID, or confirmed location. Some believed he fled the country. Others said he never existed in the first place, just a myth invented to absorb guilt. But Alex had his doubts. A man that skilled didn't vanish. He simply changed his mask. Then, late one night, an envelope arrived at Alex's office. No return address. Inside, a single photograph. It showed a crowded cafe in Lisbon. At a table near the window sat an older man with silver hair and sunglasses. He was reading Le Monde. His expression was calm, neutral, watching. On the back of the photo, a handwritten note. "Justice is a shadow, don't chase it, become it." Alex stared at it for a long time. He placed the photo in his desk drawer, locked it, and stood. There were other cases to handle now, other shadows to confront. But he knew the game wasn't over, only paused. As the credits of the story began to roll in the public mind, Camilla's voice, captured in one final interview, recorded under anonymity, echoed through the world. They thought silence was protection, but silence is only safety until someone dares to speak, and someone had. If this story gripped you, if you believe truth still matters, subscribe to the channel now and hit the bell icon for more stories like this one. And don't miss what's coming next. Click on the video on your screen now to uncover how the Fox built an empire from the shadows and why he may be closer than you think.